Your garden's success next year isn't decided in the spring, it's decided now before the first frost. Before you keep watching, take 30 seconds to look up your local first frost date and jot it down. That one detail will guide every step you take in the weeks ahead. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 essential moves: soil amendments, cover crops, and mulching, plus the exact regional timing for each so you don't miss your window. Get them right, and you'll see the difference when the season turns. Let's start by looking at what that difference actually looks like. Picture this. It's April. 2 gardens sit side by side. One is already filling out with bright blooms, crisp lettuce, and sturdy green stems. The other has bare patches, a few weak plants, and soil that still looks worn from winter. That difference wasn't decided in April. It started months earlier, when the cold first set in. Winter prep isn't just about making things look neat. It's about building systems, both above and below the soil, that keep your garden protected and supplied while you can't be out there every day. Roots, microbes, and even the soil structure itself need help to handle freezing and thawing without losing nutrients or breaking down. Soil life slows in cold weather, but keeps working where conditions allow, and smart winter prep, like adding organic matter or mulch, makes sure those microbes have something to feed on so they can wake your soil up faster in spring. I skipped fall prep once, and spent spring catching up. That's when I learned not to treat winter as downtime. The National Wildlife Federation notes that leaving some leaves and seed heads in parts of the garden provides critical winter shelter and food for insects and birds, while breaking down to improve the soil. Overcleaning in fall can strip away that habitat, and the steady trickle of nutrients it offers through the dormant season. Too often, winter gets treated as a break. But while plants pause above ground, much continues beneath the surface. Nutrient cycles, moisture balance, and soil structure all take shape during these cold months. When you think of winter prep as creating the right underground conditions, you set the stage for strong early growth in spring, and that begins by making sure the soil goes into winter with everything it needs to feed what's coming next. Ever start the season with healthy seedlings, only to watch them stay pale and slow even with consistent watering? That problem often begins months earlier when soil heads into winter in poor condition. Cold weather slows soil life, and if the pantry is empty, there's little for roots to draw on when growth resumes. To avoid that, add organic matter before frost so it has months to break down, leaving nutrients available and improving structure by spring. For new beds, mix 2 to 3 inches of compost into the top 6 to 8 inches of soil. For established beds, top dress with 1 to 2 inches. Compost boosts texture and microbial activity, while aged manure releases nitrogen steadily over time. Bone meal adds phosphorus and calcium for strong roots and blooms. Don't throw diseased plants into your regular compost unless your pile reliably hits about 140 degrees Fahrenheit for several days. Otherwise, bag or dispose of them per local guidance. If you haven't tested your soil in 3 or more years, do one now through your extension service or a local lab. If results call for lime or sulfur, apply in fall so pH adjustments take effect before planting. Skipping this step can leave nutrients locked away from roots. Finish amendments on time for your zone. Zones 3 to 6 should wrap up in early to mid-fall so materials integrate before freeze. Zones 7 to 10 can apply them in late fall or early winter, but finish before heavy seasonal rains. This timing ensures nutrients and structure are ready when roots need them most. Once you've given the soil what it needs, the next challenge is keeping that investment from being washed away or compacted over winter. There's a way to protect it and keep it working for you, by growing something that holds the ground and strengthens it at the same time. Cover crops are one of the simplest ways to keep soil productive through the off-season. They act like living mulch, covering bare ground, preventing erosion, holding nutrients in place, and feeding the soil while most plants are dormant. Instead of leaving beds exposed all winter, these plants give you a green layer of protection that works non-stop until spring. Choose your mix based on climate. In cold climates, zones 3 to 6, winter rye, hairy vetch, crimson clover. In mild climates, zones 7 to 10, field peas, oats, mustard. Sow 4 to 6 weeks before your first hard frost. This timing lets seedlings establish enough to resist winter stress. When planting, mind the depth. Large seeds go 1/4, 1/2 inch deep. Small seeds should be left on the surface or lightly raked in. And if you plant legumes like vetch, peas, or clover, use commercial seed inoculant on the seed to help root nodules fix nitrogen more effectively. Cover crop timing isn't just about starting, how you finish matters too. Some winter hardy mixes like rye plus vetch can be tough to break down in spring. Mow or cut them before tilling, or use a no-till roll-kill approach if you want to preserve soil structure. Once terminated, they can be left on the surface as mulch or incorporated to decompose and enrich the soil. By late winter or early spring, these plants will have improved soil texture, added organic matter, and either locked up or fixed nutrients ready for your next crop. Maintaining that progress means shielding your beds from temperature swings, moisture loss, and early weed growth once the cover crops are gone. There's a reliable way to do that that works in every climate, and it's as straightforward as spreading the right layer at the right time. Ever walked into your garden in early spring and found plants pushed out of the soil or weeds already sprouting? That's frost heave and opportunistic weed growth. The right winter mulch helps reduce freeze-thaw heaving and suppresses many weed seeds, though heavy cycles or persistent heaving can still occur in exposed spots. Mulch works like a buffer for your garden. It slows moisture loss from winter winds, evens out soil temperature to limit root disturbance, and blocks enough light to keep many weed seeds from germinating. Apply 2 to 4 inches of organic mulch, keeping it 2 to 3 inches away from stems or trunks. Avoid mulch piled up against trunks, mulch volcanoes, and steer clear of very fresh wood chips right next to shallow-rooted vegetable crowns, as they can trap moisture, cause rot, or tie up nitrogen. Zones 3 to 6. Apply after the soil cools, but before it freezes so you lock in stable conditions without sealing in excess heat. Zones 7 to 10. Apply before the first heavy seasonal rains to limit erosion and nutrient leaching. As mulch breaks down, it feeds the organisms that maintain healthy soil, adding organic matter and improving structure for the season ahead. By spring, a mulched bed will hold moisture better, have fewer weeds, and warm faster than bare soil. Getting the most from mulch depends on putting it down at the right moment for your region, and the same precise timing holds true for every one of your winter prep steps. Missing that window can undo months of work. Knowing exactly when to finish your winter prep starts with knowing your frost dates. Go to a frost date lookup tool, like the Old Farmer's Almanac or your local extension service, and note both your average first fall frost and last spring frost. Use these dates to set the deadlines for every prep task on your list. For cooler zones, 3 to 6, aim to have your main winter prep finished between mid-September and early October. That gives time for amendments to work in, cover crops to establish, and mulch to settle before the ground freezes. In warmer zones, 7 to 10, you can push your window later, late October through early December, but don't wait too far. Cold, wet spells can slow decomposition and seed establishment, cutting into the benefits you're aiming for. If you don't already know your frost dates, online calculators will narrow it down based on historical weather data for your exact location. This is more reliable than relying on general advice or county averages, because each season and location can vary. For example, sowing cover crops too late, less than about 4 weeks before your average first frost, reduces their ability to establish strong roots and provide full winter coverage. Keeping your own garden records can sharpen those numbers even further. Start a simple journal and record the actual first frost date in your yard each year. Many gardeners discover their microclimate runs a bit warmer or colder than published averages, and those few degrees can shift your ideal planting or mulching dates. Once you've locked in your real deadlines, you can time each step with confidence. That planning is what allows every other move you've made, feeding the soil, planting cover crops, laying mulch, to pay off when the growing season returns. And that brings us to what all of this timing and preparation is really about. Winter prep is the work that determines how strong your garden starts next spring. Every amendment, seed, and layer you put down now builds healthier soil, fewer weeds, and better growth. This week, test your soil, or at least check your first frost date, and order your compost or seeds. Small, timely steps now make spring easier. Start by adding what your soil needs, get your cover crops in before the window closes, and protect it all with mulch. You can download the free winter garden prep checklist, covering soil amendment recipes, cover crop choices by zone, and mulching guides, using the link in the description. Prep now and you not only grow a stronger garden, you help pollinators, feed soil life, and reduce waste. If this helped, like and subscribe for seasonally timed guides, and tell us in the comments which zone you're in and what you'll prep this week.